Hi guys, Samantha from Jessima Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you a fun little piece using Primo Opal clay and some Primo copper clay. And we're going to be making a little spiral out of clay, and it's kind of going to be imitating ceramics. That's the general feeling I'm going to be going for. So, as I said, I have Primo Opal clay here, and I've just rolled it out on my thickest setting, and I want to colour it, and so I'm going to be using this blue alcohol ink. Any blue alcohol ink will work, and actually you can use any colour of alcohol ink you want. It doesn't have to be blue, but I thought the blue goes quite nicely with the copper that we're going to be using. So I'm going to be putting roughly 5 to 6 drops there. And then I'm going to put that to the side and just let it dry, because mixing in the alcohol ink is just much easier when you do that. In the meantime, I'm going to bring over the copper that we have over here, and this is a metallic clay. Again, you can use any colour you want, but preferably a metallic clay in this sense, because what we're going to do is you're going to rip it into pieces and you're going to stack them on top of each other. And this is similar to a technique that I've done in the past. It's called either a torn paper technique or a watercolour technique. And some of you may have already seen that video. I've done a few actually. But you can do it with metallic clay as well. And you'll see once I flatten this out that you will get a pattern from it. So just take that clay and rip it up into pieces and lay it over each other like so. Okay, so you can see I've gone a fair bit. I didn't use up all the copper clay, but I got enough that I'll be able to use it for our pendant. And I'm just going to pop that onto a piece of paper, and that's just going to make it easier for us to burnish it. Just pop another piece of paper on and just run over it with your fingers. If it's quite soft, it should burnish out really quickly. If it's not and you're having a little bit of trouble, you can always take your roller and use that to burnish as well. Don't roll like this because you'll end up stretching out the pattern, and it's just better to burnish like this. Okay, and that should do. And you can see that we've got a really nice pattern. There's one spot over there that is not flat. You can always put the paper back over and just smooth out any areas that might not be smooth, like where you smooth that out. There's a couple of areas, but in general it should be pretty much smooth. And you can see that the metallics have created a pattern while keeping it completely smooth. So I'm going to take that off the piece of paper because it will end up drying out if we leave it there too long. And we're going to work with our opal clay because the alcohol ink has pretty much dried by now. Okay, and it's for the most part dry. Now I would recommend mixing this by hand if you can. Even if you do have a pasta machine, the alcohol ink and the opal flakes just get into the machine and cause a bit of a mess. So I like to at least do the first part of the process by hand. And sometimes it's easier doing it on a piece of paper because it will absorb some of that ink. And I'll just do the first bit of the process because it's just really messy. But you want to mix that ink in so that you get a nice blue colour. Okay. And so after I've mixed it to a degree, I'll put it through a pasta machine and mix it the final bit. And this has just been run out on my thickest setting. And you can see it's given us a nice blue. So now I'm just going to fold that, probably twice, so that I have 4 layers. And I've somehow got some red leaf on here. So I'll just get that off because I don't want that there. But I'll just roll it into a piece like that, and then I'm just squishing that together and going to form it into a log. And then we're going to form our kind of spiral Nautilus like shape out of this. And I'm just busy figuring or deciding whether this is a little too much clay for what I want. I think it is a bit too much, so I'm gonna trim away some of that because I don't want too much. Okay. Just form that back into a log. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to roll, tapering down that one end. And at any point, if you feel like you've still got too much clay, you can always trim it back. Just means you'll probably have to reshape it. Okay, and I want it to be quite long. Okay, there we go. Might be a little long. I want it to be about as long as the piece that we have here. So I'm also going to run this out on my pasta machine just to make it even. Run it out on my second thinnest setting, stretching it out. Okay, there we go. Then just make sure that you're happy with that and that it's even to your liking. And I am going to round out this end just a little bit. Happy with that. Bring over your piece, and I'm just going to lay that over the top and wrap it around like so. Pinch it down to the end. Make sure I wrap it around all the way like so, and also on the end as well. Pinch that down as well. Okay. Then take a craft knife and just go in and trim around. And don't make this an even cut. You want it to be rough. Like so. And this you can always mix back and it will be copper clay again, and you can use it all over again. So that's really nice about mica shifts, is that you don't have to worry about waste clay. And just do that around the whole piece, cutting a nice uneven finish, like so. Okay, then go in with a ball tool, or you can use a a piercing tool as well, any kind of needle or sharp pointed tool to go in, and let me actually show you from that side, to kind of go in and work that edge a little bit more, like so. Do that along the entire edge. Okay, then I'm just going to pick that up. You can see how it looks on the side. Quickly clean up any residue you may have on your tile. And then these edges, bring them over so that they are up against and lying flat over that opal clay. Okay. And you can even give it a light roll to kind of secure that. And if you feel the need, you can go in and fuss with it a little more, just to even out any spots that you're not happy with, like straight edges. Okay, then go in and very gently start to get this end to curl around. And just be gentle with that at first, especially if you're working with stiffer clay, because you don't want it to crack. And it will move for you. Just keep going in and out to kind of get it to become more flexible. Okay. And as you get to the larger end, it should become easier. Okay. Then I'm going to pop that down onto the tile so that the opal edge is the flat part. And then just smooth out the back because you don't want too many fingerprints if possible. Okay, and you can see what the front edge looks like there. Okay, now I'm going to put that onto a piece of paper. And I'm just going to bake that for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature, and that will clear up the translucent in the opal clay. It will also bring out the copper of the metallic, and once it's finished up we can give it a varnish and clear it up a bit. Okay, and here it is out of the oven. I gave the back a very light sand with a 600 grit wet dry sandpaper just to clear up a little bit, but as you can see it hasn't changed at all that much. So now I'm going to just pop a bail in and then we'll be able to varnish it. So I've made a mark at the top here so I know where to put this in. And this is just a eye pin. And the piece is plenty thick enough for us to screw one in. And you just pop it in like so, and that will be nice and secure. Okay, and you might have to clean up around the edges a little bit. There we go. And then we will attach a bail to that a little bit later, but for now we are going to varnish it. So I've just got a wire here so that I can suspend it, and a can of varnish. If you don't have something that you can dip your piece into, you can always brush it on. You just dip it in like so, submerging it, and then I'll hang it over the can for a little bit just to get the majority of that varnish to drain, and then I'll put it somewhere else and cover this up because I don't want it to be open for too long, but just watch it for like maybe 5 minutes just to make sure that you don't end up with drips at the bottom of the Nautilus. It should take about half an hour to 40 minutes to dry, to the point where you can continue working with it, but let it dry for about a day before you consistently handle it. Okay. And here it is after it's dried. There's one or two spots that are still a little bit wet, like in the cracks and right at the bottom here, but for the most part it's dry, so we'll be able to assemble it now. So I've just got a Kamihima cord here with a bail, and I'm just going to pop that on and squeeze that bail shut. And this can be a little tricky to get a hold of, so just bear with me for one moment. There we go. Just got to get hold of it correctly. And there we go. Very simple. I like the Kamihima because it's a bit thicker than other cords that I tend to use, and this is a pretty big pendant that we've made, so it needed a big cord. But you can of course make this smaller. You can make it so it's a smaller pendant, or you could make it so that it's small enough to make earrings. That's of course something that you could do. But yeah, that's basically it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, please do consider leaving a like on the video, as that is greatly appreciated. And remember, you can do this in multiple different colours. It does not have to be the colours that I have done today. And if you have any questions, please do consider leaving a comment in the comment section below. I will try to get to it as soon as possible, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.